Well, it is with the domestic game that we will start today in Simon Says.
Simon Says.
So here's my rant today. Independence. The dictionary definition says it's a condition by which an organisation exercises self-government. It is the freedom from outside control or support. And this single word has become the cause célèbre for A-League club owners over the last few years. It drove the governance war, shaped the TV deal, and not in the way that they wanted. And yet, crucially, it continues to prove elusive. As long ago as 2003, the Crawford Report recommended an independent National League. Even further back, Frank Lowy withdrew his Sydney City team from the NSL after a disagreement over the financial model of the competition with the then Australian Soccer Federation. This is an argument as old as time. Now, fast forward to August 2018, a FIFA-backed Congress Review Working Group recommended an independent A-League. A full year later, an in-principle agreement was reached over what it would look like. And yet here we are in August 2020, and despite various timeframes having come and gone, we are still stuck at the same point. The 2018 recommendations envisaged a new body with an independent chair, with the clubs to have greater control over the strategic and commercial direction of the league, in turn triggering new investment. The APFCA website lists independence as its top priority, yet none of it has materialised, despite everyone signing off on it, all the stakeholders. Now, of course, COVID has thrown a large spanner in the works. We know that. The TV deal has been almost halved, and the governing body is reportedly in serious financial trouble. But surely at some point, the game, and the A-League in particular, has to grasp the nettle and take the giant leap of faith. In doing so, however, it must connect the tiers of the game in tandem. Is that a sticking point? We don't know. The status quo is clearly not working, other than keeping the current ecosystem barely breathing on life support. It is subsistence living that is almost entirely dependent upon extending the begging bowl to Fox Sports every few years. It's unsustainable, especially as Fox have made it quite clear that football is not their priority. The rumour is some of the member federations are again blocking a move towards independence as they allegedly fight for the ever-diminishing returns of a smaller TV distribution, which now has less than a year left to run. Is that true? Who knows? There is precious little information. The A-League, meantime, about to be without a naming rights sponsor with seemingly no successor in sight, will likely operate with a reduced salary cap next season, thus diluting quality and making generating interest even more difficult. And as to the mainstream football media that's charged with covering it all, well, as we've discussed many times on this podcast already, that body of people is now virtually non-existent. We have been the first ones to pay the price of the game's failures. Aside of the 11 principles put forward by new CEO James Johnson, the way forward for both the game and its senior competition remains very much underfunded, unclear, publicly undiscussed, and therefore under a large cloud. And of course, the football community are the big losers in this. Our leaders continue to fail to deliver. It's surely time for the talking and the promises to stop. Football people want action and results. And in my view, the time is now. Maury and Spider, your view.
That's a depressing little start, ain't it? Depressing, but reality, ain't it? Yeah.
But confusing as well, Spider.
Confusing in the way I delivered it, Maury, or just the whole story is confusing?
No, I mean, it's just very, very unclear about what the direction of our game is. I mean, we have a new league's working group in terms of, this independence and driving the A-League, the model forward. But again, I don't really know what's happening in that space. When I was trying to search information leading into this podcast, it's a year ago before you've seen any recent updates. The Congress, Simon, in terms of the way that sits, I've never kind of really understood that particular situation. I believe that as much as 90% sits with the member federations.
No, that's no longer true, to be fair. That it used to be.
Has that changed?
It's post the Congress war, that's been diluted to 58%, I think, is the figure now. Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. Well, seen the last one, but even in terms of the 58%, that's the amateur side of the game, and this is a problem that has also cropped up in other countries. The professional part of the game needs to be driving certainly the A League and their direction, but mate, I'm really confused. FFA have been very quiet of late. And that's why we're all guessing about what the direction is. We need leadership, we need direction, we need structure, we need timelines. Spider, I know you're big on timelines as well.
Yeah, well, we spoke before we come on the air today. Me and Simon were talking about the exact same thing. How the FFA are very quiet. There's no noise. There's no leader. Where is James Johnson? Where he's just disappeared. Is he on holiday? I don't know what's going on. The A-League's coming into the semi-final stage. We don't know what's going on. If you weren't a football supporter, you wouldn't even know the A-League was playing because the media is virtually zero. The clubs are doing their own pre-game interviews and all that. So the only way you have some sort of connection is if you really love the game. So we're not drawing in people. But as for the game itself, we want timelines. We're desperate for timelines. We're desperate for someone. We don't even know, Maury, when the A-League is going to recommence after this. So we got 2 weeks left of football in the A-League, and then we have no idea when it's going to recommence.
Well, the clock is ticking, guys. We're already 2 months into the extended 1-year deal with Fox Sports. So let's hope we get some answers as to what the future is going to look like very soon. We've got some news, incidentally, on the new National Second Division coming up a little bit later on in the show as well.